This is a long time coming, Dan. Me and you talking about these films.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
What's great is this was your first recommendation.
Yeah, it's true.
For Retro versus Remake. You were like, oh, let's watch Barb Wire, let's watch Barb Wire. And I'm like...
Well, just because it's like, those are related?
Yeah.
And they are.
I honestly thought this was porn. And
you're not wrong.
sometimes it is.
You're not wrong.
Sometimes it is.
From the opening rip.
Well, with that being said, during a time of unrest and war, the owner of a bar survives by not picking sides. All that changes when an ex-lover comes back into their life and makes them choose. All this can only mean one thing. We're watching Casablanca and Barb Wire on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
He's looking at you, kid. Retro vs. Remake!
Love that. As you can tell, we're wearing our Barb Wire in our Casablanca outfit.
Casablanca outfit. Close enough. Fucking jacket and goddamn hat. That's about it. Well, closer to Indiana Jones, but whatever. Who cares?
I'm saying that's kind
It
of
was black and white.
That's true. That's true. It was pretty good. I'm saying that's kind of it, right? Like, there's a war.
Yeah.
There's a bar owner, and
Yeah, that's about it. Civil unrest. Let's say that.
Civil unrest.
It's not really a war.
That's true. That's true. They're in an unoccupied.
Yeah, the last free
zone.
city.
Yeah. Sure.
Steel Harbor.
I'm also not changing the fucking.
Yeah, fuck it.
True.
Enjoy it.
Sick. Well, so this episode we watch Casablanca and we watch Barb Wire.
Barb Wire, starring Pamela Anderson Lee.
You goddamn right. Casablanca is a 1942 American romantic drama film directed by Michael Curtis, starring Humphrey Bogart,
Bogey.
Ingrid Bergman, Paul Henrid. Should add some people probably. Not too many more.
There's more. Well, one big one.
Let's see. Claude Rains,
That's it.
Conrad Veidt,
Conrad Veidt.
Sidney Greenstreet, and
Yes.
Peter Lorre.
Peter Lorre of the Ratback fame.
That's true. That's true. Barb Wire, the 1996 classic American superhero film based on the Barb Wire comic book by Dark Horse, which is like an offshoot of DC Comics.
Yes.
Directed by David Hogan. Screenplay by Chuck Ferrer and Eileen Chaikin. Starring Pamela Anderson Lee. She was Anderson Lee at the time.
Yes, she just got married.
Tamara Morrison, Victoria Rowell, Jack Noseworthy, Xander Berkeley, Udo Kier, and Steve Railsback. You know, real heavy hitters.
Just one after another. Pa, pa, pa.
Boom, boom. Is that Victoria Rowell? Yeah, it is.
No, it is.
Jack Noseworthy, all right. Both films somehow, inexplicably, share, I guess, the spine of the story. Like
Yes,
the story.
I mean, it's basically the story, except he's not a bounty hunter. And that, in Barb Wire, she's a bounty hunter. That's
true.
basically the only difference. It's that he only is the proprietor of a nightclub.
Yeah.
And it's a very successful nightclub, so he doesn't have to go and do odd jobs to help other people out.
Sure.
Although he does, I guess, randomly help people
does.
for a price. It's not like he's choosing a side.
Right.
By the way, if I ever own a bar, it will be called Rick's Cafe Americano.
I love that. And you would be right to
Yes.
do so. You're right to do so.
Here's looking at you, kid. Of all the gin joints in all the world. I can't believe that these two movies are fucking the same movie. Or the same. It really is. Like, you have the corrupt cop. You have, like, the not totalitarian Nazi. So, like, higher up. That's trying to put pressure on the ex-lover with their significant other.
Yep. You got a MacGuffin that just will solve everyone's problems if they can
Yes.
maintain it. Yeah, it's tale as old as time.
Would you say that there's a MacGuffin in Casablanca? I don't know if there's really a MacGuffin.
It's not quite
the
a
guy
MacGuffin.
would be close to the MacGuffin, I guess.
Yeah, I guess like the thing that they're trying to get
Yeah.
is it's not really MacGuffin.
Well, he's trying to get out. That's really it.
Yeah.
The other, like in Barb Wire, it's more like, yes, we gotta solve AIDS. Just fucking wait, guys.
Yeah.
It's gonna work out.
Yeah. Give
but
some time.
what is it? Red Ribbon, it's called, or something like that. And it's like it's an offshoot of the AIDS virus that kills you in like 2 days.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like
Because
that.
I mean, that was a hot topic in 1996. I hate
it
to
was.
tell you,
That it was.
and not as controversial as Philadelphia.
I'm not gonna lie, for a film that like is supposed to be futuristic, so like it's a '96 film. It takes place, I believe, in 2017.
Yes, 2017.
They're not far off. You know, the Second American
Yeah,
Civil
that's-
War, we're pretty close.
Yeah, we are now. It's pretty far off, though.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really not close. It's not. Like it's
The
there's not-
politics of barbed wire.
I don't. How many steel bars do you know that you go to that are owned by someone that gorgeous? that are,
That's a good point.
it's like from the rip. That movie's like, oh, why do you need to strip?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to. This is completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
Well, we got to get the senator's daughter.
It's unnecessary and confusing.
Yes. Don't get me wrong. Loved it.
Okay, so Dan, what's your first experience with
Wow.
both these films?
Well, I was told forever that to watch Casablanca when I was a kid. I was told always, like, especially because I was a big Indiana Jones fan.
Sure.
So I remember my dad would tell me all the time, "You should really watch this. I think you'd really like it." Like, and blah blah blah. And I would always be like, "I'm not watching this." Like, okay. Like I always had I would always mock him with that old timey voice. Like,
Yeah.
see, the thing here is, see,
That's
it doesn't
right.
matter to a hill of beans. Blah blah blah.
That's true.
And so and then when I, matured into an adult, then I started, going back and I watched that, and I probably was 17 maybe when I first saw Casablanca. That I
Okay.
was like blown away, and I was, oh my god.
Yeah.
Barb Wire, on the other hand.
yeah.
Oh
it's
my god. Let's talk about prime age to
Okay.
see that. I was 12 years old when it came out. I don't think I've ever made it through this movie without jerking off.
Get that?
I was like, oh my god, what is going on? This is Pamela Anderson at her height. Pamela
Yeah.
Anderson Lee at her height of heights. Gorgeous. It was.
Improbable.
Oh
too.
my
Improbable.
god! I remember taping this movie like off of Showtime or HBO,
Sure.
like taping in a VHS blank tape, and then running it like all the time. Certain scenes that were like that. Even now, like it's weird that you look back on it. You're like, I remember all of this.
Yeah.
I remember that song,
I
like
respect
that. From your mama. She's got a weird thing I got. All that.
What's the word? A word up?
Yeah, and the whole thing, I was like, and then even when the band's playing, I don't wanna, that looked like Marilyn Manson.
The band was. I enjoyed
It
the
wasn't
band.
bad.
I enjoyed
Terrible,
the band.
but I remember all of the parts that I was like, this was it. This is the part I watched for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then
Oh yeah. No, I
I
get
turned
that.
it off,
I understand.
and like when I would put the tape back in, it was like right at that
4.5, I
this
never
point.
made that
Whatever. Well, that is like 17 times.
True.
That 4.5 minutes.
True.
I'm 12 years old.
The oh yeah, that's it was,
And I
it was come
remember,
easy.
and then the big one was at the local video store. It wasn't. We had two in town. One was Blockbuster. The other was called Video Bazaar, and they had the unrated version. And I was like,
Oh, Jesus.
"What is this about? I gotta figure this out." And somehow,
it's gotta
and
be
I was like,
autobiography.
and of course, it wasn't though.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
it was like a little more during the strip sequence, like a little more.
Yeah. Okay.
It really wasn't that much. But I was, and then I went out on a mission to
Yeah.
find all of other Pamela Anderson movies.
Okay.
Including Raw Justice, Snapdragon, Naked Souls, all of which are exactly what you think it was, and Raw
Yeah.
Justice is by far the best of them.
So
So that's my first impressions of these movies. But
I get that.
one from an actual cinematography,
Sure, sure.
cinematic viewpoint, and the other is a horny 12-year-old.
I get that. I get that. My experience with the films was similar. Like
I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
that's okay. from a cinematography aspect, like I took this comes up from time to time on this show. I took a film history class. I took like a screenwriting class at some point throughout my travels. And my travels.
When I was going through the Arabian Bazaar,
you know it.
we stumbled across a class.
They used to call me Lawrence of Arabia.
Larry. They call me Larry.
Lawrence was my dad.
Reginald's my middle name.
Casablanca was just on the list.
Yeah, of you have. Yeah, I mean it's always on like the top
Citizen
5.
Kane,
Citizen Kane, Godfather,
yeah.
Godfather 2,
Yep.
and then Lawrence of Arabia is almost always on there.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's always.
And sometimes Cool Hand Luke. That's not true.
No,
But
that's on there, but it's later. It's further down the list.
super late.
Super late.
But yeah,
By the way, do you know Cool Hand Luke was a novel before it was a movie?
didn't know that.
Me neither.
Holy shit.
It's on my list though. Go ahead. Anyway.
There's gotta be a Cool Hand Luke remake somewhere down the line. We'll figure it out.
Well, we could just remake the Bible and then that. It's the same fucking
yes,
thing.
yes, it's a
We
messianic
wanted to do
story. You know,
Yeah.
man who comes, eats a bunch of eggs, saves the world. I get that. I get
Saves
that.
that world. Yeah, but so you first saw
So
Casablanca.
yeah,
when
I
you first
saw
it.
Casablanca as like a film study type
Yeah.
deal. Barb Wire, I had to scramble to watch before the end of Black History Month.
That's true.
In 2023, because that's when it was coming off of Netflix. So good luck, audience. You'll find this shit.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm sure you'll find it.
You'll be fine.
Now it's Women's History Month, so
That's true, which is
So-
a better time to watch.
that's
Barb
correct.
Wire.
That's what it should be.
You described this film to me. I originally wrote you off. I said this is just
This guy's a
pornography.
quack.
And I said that we're not going to do it. And then eventually I said, wait a minute. There's more to this Barb Wire. I was reading an article actually. Funny enough, unprompted, Dan didn't send it to me. I was reading an article on the Daily Beast, and they were talking about how like Barb Wire was like an early, what would you say, like prototype of like the superhero genre that we're now
Yes.
inundated with.
Comic book movie.
Yeah, comic book movie. Dark Horse, which is something that as a comic book fan,
Yes.
I'm a big fan of their stuff. I think that they've always found a way to take this like more everyman, darker edge of like a normal dude dealing with superheroes.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
some degree.
And that's kind of what Barb Wire is like. Like Constantine, for instance, is I believe a Dark Horse property.
Yes. So an Alien vs Predator.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
great. Whereas like a person that like has powers, kind of, but like mostly can't deal with like Superman and Batman.
No.
But has to live in the world with Superman and Batman, and they make it work. I really do think that we'll talk about this. That as I was watching Barbara, I was like, "No, I get this. Like, if I was living in a super world where
Dystopian future.
yeah, dystopian future where we're in the second Civil War, like, yeah, I can see doing barbed wire shit. So yeah, that was my experience. First time for this. I've watched Casablanca numerous times, but like again, in the context of this, it was actually fun rewatching.
Oh, for sure. I could watch that. I should rewatch that like every year.
Yeah,
But,
it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and the also like this Barbed Wire was also always the frame of reference of who Jango Fett was for me.
Oh,
Like that was always when people were like, "Oh, who's gonna be the new Jango Fett?" Well, have you seen Barbed Wire?
Yeah.
Like that was always that guy. And by the way, for the rest of this podcast, I will refer to him as Boba Fett or Jango Fett.
I get that.
So I don't care what his real name is in the movie.
Really?
Doesn't matter.
He really is Jango.
He's Jango Fett, and
Wow.
he should be lucky that he has that.
Yeah, because we'll get to
Your
it.
boy stinks.
Yeah.
Stinks.
We'll get to all that. Yeah, it's pretty fucking terrible.
Where are you from, man? Hey, man, where you from?
Really fucking
The Upper West Side.
Again, again, when we're talking about films from
But before we go,
Sure.
well, I gotta talk about this before we go further this movie when I was rewatching Casablanca, the movies today that everyone has, and especially it's coming up. By the time we're recording this, the Oscars are coming up, and
yeah.
you have a lot of these movies that people were like, "That was such a brave choice.
Yeah.
Like what you did was so brave." And then you watch this. That movie's so anti-Nazis and like about like supporting the resistance, doing
Right.
what's the right thing against these people in that are upholding concentration camps and sneaking people out and getting people out and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
While the war is going on, and it's 1942,
It's super early.
which means 1941 they made this.
Oh, wow.
So that means like it is so up in the air that they might lose. If the Allied powers lose, the Nazis will kill them.
Mm-hmm.
They are all dead. Humphrey Bogart's dead. Ingrid Bergman's dead. The director's dead. The writer's dead. They're all dead. There are two movies that are like, Jesus, that is, talk about like a brave, like signing John Hancock's name so big. Like, yes, I'm writing my name.
Right.
That way you know it's me. This and The Great Dictator with Charlie Chaplin.
Wow.
At the end of that movie, when he gives that speech and he's talking directly to Hitler, there is... And I think that was earlier than this. Warner Brothers was like, MGM when they made this were like, let's fucking go, let's do this. We all support this. Fuck the Nazis. We're not dealing with any of this. And it's so talk about bold and brave and out of control. Like in comparison to like when people are like that was a brave choice. It's like that is not brave. This is like Jesus.
This could be construed as controversial, but like one of the films that we watched earlier,
Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yes, that one, but also we did a Mulan episode earlier in Retro vs. Remake, and there's a scene in the new one where like Disney is like, yo, thanks to the Chinese government for letting us film in these different locations, and like the opposite of bravery. It's just like, hey man, we don't want to rock the boat because we need the money.
Yeah.
Which like I remember, I can't remember exactly what the context was, but like I think John Cena from the Fast and Furious franchise has said something about like Taiwan, like free Taiwan or some shit, and then he had to apologize in Mandarin for saying that because like if you take the Chinese market out of Fast and Furious, that's a lot of money. That's like $500 million.
That's a dent.
Easily.
That's a dent.
Easily. But you're right, like this film in 1942, because what, the war was over, what, 45? Yeah. I mean, and the Nazis were doing
yes, they were doing
quite well in the war at that time. Like,
I mean, they have France, they have most of Europe. I mean, it's not winter yet in Russia. They're doing pretty good.
They're doing pretty good.
It's not. It's very up in the air who's going to win this. It's not like a foregone conclusion. By 1944, it's like like the Allied forces are going to win.
Sure.
But they're still like holding out and fighting, and the Pacific was a really big problem. Then.
Well, it's even like the framework for the film. Like France is taking such a beating. Yeah. Like France is falling, and like citizens, I guess, or people that were in that region who had like migrated to this more this unoccupied zone, sort of. And like that is the backdrop for the film.
Yeah. And if you see, and it makes complete sense why, like when you look at a map, obviously, when you see where Casablanca's located,
right?
It's clearly the gateway to Europe to get out of where, or you could go to America, across the Atlantic. It's like it's much closer to the Atlantic Ocean to like go, or you could go over the Mediterranean or whatever. It's such like a centralized point that it makes sense. Like that would be the last getaway to get out. And it's also, it's a country that it's kind of like money talks. So they have no ally. They're not allied to anyone. So you might be able to get out. You might not. If you don't have any money,
I kind
you're kind of screwed.
Like that about both films. It's like rogues gallery of people who are like, hey man, it is what it is, right? Like it's not, morality isn't important in this time. What is important, like you said, is money talks. Like, who's able to advance my interests is slightly more important than like who's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right. And both of our protagonists, our main sort of people, they do have convictions. They're not
absolutely
without conviction. However, when I said in my intro, to survive, they had to choose to not
have convictions. Yeah, their conviction is to not have convictions.
Right, because that is the only way to live. Like having convictions, it'll be nice, but you're not going to live very long.
No.
So they had to decide.
Like in both films, there's a part where the Nazis or the secret
yeah,
police,
no,
whatever.
it's
Let's
the
just say
same.
the secret police.
Okay, sure.
Secret police come in. Which, by the way, when they released this movie in Germany, they cut out the Nazi part
Really?
and the whole war. So it's just like some phantom secret police chasing them. It makes no sense if that's the case. You're like, why are they running from them then? Anyway, but they come at the secret police comes in to destroy their bars, and at one point that would happen every night.
Yeah,
if that were the case.
Yeah, that's true.
And then if they didn't, then other rebels would or whatever.
Well, you know, I'm saying Rick, but I guess I'm also talking about Barb. Babs, crazy. Like when you're talking about the sort of corrupt cop or whatever. Yes and no. It was like, I know you're smart enough to know not to stick your neck out.
Yes.
That's the general premise. Is like, you're operating because you know where the line is, and you're not crossing it. And it's a fascinating. Well, for one film, it's fascinating. For another film, it's something. I guess I'll just give us a quick synopsis so we can really dive into this conversation. Somehow, again, inexplicably, I can describe both of these films with the same synopsis.
Yes.
And so I will. During a time of unrest, there's like a war effort in regions adjacent to the place that we're going to describe in both films. There is a proprietor or owner of a bar who has chosen not to take sides in the war because it's in their best interest when it comes to survival. This conviction that they have is tested when two events happen. One being that they're somehow given an item that could allow you to escape this region and go to maybe a place that's a little bit more liberated. And simultaneously, a person from their past, an ex-lover, comes back into their lives, muddies the waters, and makes it harder to make this choice to not choose. Their ex-lover is connected to a freedom fighter that has inspired many people during this time when it comes to revolutionary talk. This challenge of choosing between their own personal safety and doing, I guess, what we could describe as what's right, comes to a head when they have to actually take on the secret police or the forces of the side that I guess we'll call the villains in this particular case.
Antagonist.
The antagonist, thank you. Ultimately, throughout this journey of decision, of what matters to Barb,
Barb and Rick.
When Barb and Rick have to decide what actually matters to them and who matters to them, we get to see their ultimate decision and the effects of this decision. And that is, I guess,
that's basically
the plot of,
for the most part,
Casablanca and Barb Wire.
Yeah, I got a question for you. Maybe while we're both of them. Well, no, I don't know if she can, but can't go back to America.
No,
he's an expatriate. What do you think he did? Because you never know what he did.
Well, we know their crimes. I've got to assume.
Well, it's got to be a crime. They never quite say what.
Yeah.
They don't say what. I think he just killed someone in a bar fight. Or something. He was drunk as hell and killed the guy.
That makes sense. I mean, like some sort of murder.
Maybe bootlegging.
I was thinking bootlegging.
Mob stuff because
just the way he moves.
Because he's not putting up with anyone's shit. He's like, I'm gonna kill all of you. And spoiler alert, he kills a couple people in this movie, and he does not hesitate to do it.
No. Rick is
pretty cold.
A cold man. Yeah, no, I would imagine something along those lines. One of those vague things that you can never go back situations, whether it's murder, general crime like racketeering, bootlegging, or something like that. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I think he ran with because even they mentioned New York, and New York at this time was quite filled with crime, especially organized crime. And he was like, yeah, there's parts of New York I wouldn't roll down if I were you.
Yeah.
Like, I would leave them to their own business.
No, that's
with a tank. He was talking to the Nazi general or whatever.
Well, when we talk about Rick, who we will talk about a bit more, but like, yeah, his move to France is spurred by the fact that, like, you gotta get out of Dodge.
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. Yeah, that's why he's in France, and then that's why he's in Casablanca.
Versus Barb, who I guess is more just like adjacent to revolutionary.
Yeah. Well, she's a former soldier.
Yeah.
She fought in the Civil War.
Sure.
And then
The Second Civil War.
The Second Civil War.
And
then she, whatever.
2017?
Whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets out, and then, I guess, after being burned by her lover, left holding the bag, opens this bar. It's a lot less clear of why, there's why she doesn't just leave.
Yeah. So look, because we're gonna get here. Let's just get right into it.
I got so many questions about Barb Wire. It doesn't make sense.
So let's just talk about our protagonist because it's gonna help us have this conversation. In the 1942 film, we have Humphrey Bogart, a classic actor, who plays Rick Blaine.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
Like you mentioned, an
Mr.
expat
Blaine.
that can no longer go back to America, clearly can't go back to France.
Yeah.
Who's stuck in Casablanca, whatever you want to
He's
call
stuck
it.
in limbo, if you will.
Oh, yeah, it truly is. In the 96 film, we have Pamela Anderson Lee, who plays Barbara Barb Wire Kapitsky.
Don't call me babe.
Barbara Kapitsky.
Barbara Kapitsky, a former soldier who has chosen to stop making waves and just try to make it on her own. All right, let's talk about Rick. Let's just get into the movie that's a real movie.
But throughout the whole thing, I was trying to draw comparisons between because I mean it is it's but there are certain characters that don't work.
Right.
That either are subtracted from Casablanca and added to Barbed Wire. That it's
the brother,
the brother. But
yeah.
is the brother Sam?
Or is the guy Sam?
Or is the guy Sam? But there's also the maitre d'.
Right.
Remember that
That's what I'm talking about, the maitre d'.
The maitre d'. But
Right.
no, the maitre d' in Casablanca. The fat guy with the glasses that just balance on his nose.
That's actually really good point.
Is that guy? Because he's also a much minor character. Rick doesn't put much faith in. He trusts him to do his job, but he doesn't confide in him. He's not we're gonna make it, okay, guys. Yeah. But he kind of confides in Sam.
Yes,
because Sam's been with him for a long time.
I feel like Barb confides in her kind of maitre d' character a bit more.
Absolutely. I agree.
Than her brother.
Than the fucking millionaire from Ace Ventura. Yeah.
Yes.
That guy.
Yes. But I don't know. No, there is a subtraction, sort of.
And then Charlie, who's Charlie Kapitsky.
Right.
Who's her blind brother, who that guy was in every 90s music video and movie.
That's true.
He was in everything. I don't know what he's doing now. He's probably working at a gas station. I have no idea. It doesn't matter. But he was in everything back then.
So.
With his faux sage wisdom, because he's because he's blind, that he has all these things, telling her when she's drinking, drink to remember, not to forget.
Right.
What the hell does that mean?
That doesn't make any sense.
The hell are you talking about?
In this particular context, it makes
none of it makes sense. It's all his advice.
Okay, so let's just try to help ourselves in this conversation.
Okay.
In the 42 film, Dooley Wilson plays Sam.
Play it once, Sam. Play as time goes by.
You must remember this.
And Sam is he's a drummer. Wow, he fake playing piano?
He fake played. Yeah, he fake playing piano. The guy that was playing piano, he watched him and he mimicked him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Dooley Wilson plays Sam, who is a black man that Rick is friends with, and who's a major part of the bar.
The equation.
Yes, the equation also just has the history of Rick, knows Rick's strengths, his weaknesses, and
he also knows his femme fatale.
Yes, yes. So there's this connection to the past.
And he could fucking sing, bro.
He was so.
He kills it. Do you? But let's just jump right on to him, so we could dismiss this from the conversation. Do you think that he's a racist caricature?
No.
I don't think so either.
No.
I don't think so either.
I think they're like.
I think the guy who wrote this is clearly white.
Yeah.
But that's. I don't think he's really a racist depiction of the time.
I think that there is a certain affect that I think black people have to take on to come across as like non-confrontational, not like dangerous or something like that. That I think Sam embodies, but I wouldn't consider him a racist depiction, especially given his ability to interact and talk with Sam as like I'm not saying equals per se, but like
He definitely confides in him, though.
yes, Sam.
I think he does. Like, well, it's a boss.
Excuse me, Rick respects
yes.
Sam.
But I think that's also just an employer-employee relationship. It has nothing to do with. It's not an equal because it's not. It's Rick's Cafe Americana.
Right.
It's not Sam's Cafe Americana. So it's not going to be an equals no matter what. But at the same time, when the guy offers him the job, he's like, "Hey, Sam, this guy will offer you a job," and he's like, "No, I'm happy here." And he's like, "Well, he's going to pay you double what I pay you." He's like, "Well, can't spend the money you pay me now."
Yeah.
So
it's great line.
I'm good. It is great. So it's like it. He also and when he's non-confrontational, that's exactly what Rick wants him not to be.
Right.
Like if he's confrontational at all, it's like no, you're not bringing that shit in here. That's the one thing that's keeping this bar open is that we're not confrontational with anyone. Right. Like I could be confrontational, but that's my call.
Yeah. Rick has the choice to make that call.
Yeah, because it's my bar. And he basically says fuck off to everyone.
Right.
So
I'm trying to think of like you said, you mentioned the Mater D in Casablanca.
There it is. S.E. Sakal.
S.E. Sakal, who plays Carl.
May I get you a cup of coffee?
No thanks, Carl.
Monsieur.
In Casablanca is like our Mater D type character. When we're looking at Barb Wire, like you mentioned, we got Jack Noseworthy who plays Charlie Kapitsky.
Sir, the scanner's broken, sir.
And then who the fuck is their equivalent?
Charlie Kapitsky? I would say it's Sam.
You would right, like you would think that Charlie is more of like the Sam character.
I think so. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. I guess I was watching it. I was trying to figure out which way like they would correlate because obviously the cop.
This is Curly, right? Udo Kier.
Curly.
Udo Kier in '96 plays Curly.
Music!
So no, I agree, right? Like I think that like there is more of like that that Mater D aspect of Curly.
Yeah.
But like I feel like Barb confides in Curly a bit more than Charlie, because I think that like Charlie still has like this revolutionary thing going on that Barb's trying to like take out of him. She's like, Charlie, that's over, right?
Yeah.
This is almost more than we should be thinking about this film. But
yes, that's true.
Charlie, who she also confides in, who I think actually, I do agree, fits more into the Sam character. But when it comes to like the conversations, the confiding, the number of times they talk, I would say that Udo is closer somewhat in the way they interact.
Sam. Yeah. Because it's also like, it's more like he's been with her and Sam's been with, so it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Like they're like each other's part, like they're like their right-hand guy.
Sure.
That makes, but I don't know. It's the affinity that he has for Charlie, for the Mater D. But he doesn't really have anything for him. Like, we're delving too much. I think it's just
it's okay to delve though. Like, right? So like
into Barb Wire.
Sure, but like I get what you're saying, right? Like we have this issue here early on in the films of us trying to make this connection because the films are clearly connected, right? Barb Wire is taking aspects of Casablanca, and trying to fit this into this like Dark Horse comic book universe, right?
And he can't be red because he's blind. They can't scan his eyes.
Yeah, because the smart missile laser or something hit him in the eyes, and now he doesn't have retinas, you idiot.
He doesn't have retinas, you idiot. He's blind.
So, again,
that guy who's the head, the bad Secret Service agent in Air Force One. Go ahead.
Jesus. Yeah. So, yeah, just framing things up, right? Humphrey Bogart's Rick Blaine.
Yeah.
Very easy 1-to-1 to Pamela
Barb Wire,
Anderson's
yeah.
Barb Wire. Charlie Kapitsky.
Yeah. Well, no, those two. It's the Mater D and Charlie. Curly and Charlie.
Yeah.
I don't know how they go to Sam, and everyone else makes sense.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
That's true.
Just those two.
Those two were like kind of tough to
I guess they kind of
fit in.
split them off too.
Sort of, right? I think they're like...
Plus, he's always sitting down, Charlie.
Yeah.
And Sam's always sitting down. He's never really walking around.
That's true.
I don't know.
I think that we're probably closer... I say, because, like, funny enough, when you said sitting, like, weirdly enough, I think that Sam Dooley's, Dooley's Sam is closer to Charlie, ultimately. Although the Mater D picks up more slack.
Yeah, he does.
He still is ultimately inconsequential.
Yeah.
And, like, Sam is critical to the film. Charlie Kapitsky is critical to the film and has a...
Yeah, they're both... That's true. That's a good point. That's a great point.
Sam's...
He knows Boba Fett before.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
like he knows him from the past. Sam knows her from the past.
Yes.
Ingrid Bergman.
And there is a difference between the films. Dooley's Sam kind of is present throughout the film, survives all that stuff. It's fine, right? Kapitsky has like a moment where he's captured, and Charlie is like tortured, presumably killed, right? I believe.
Yes.
So
he's definitely killed.
They're still playing off of sort of our emotions as the audience. Like Sam is important to us.
That torture. Oh God, all the
so
torture
bad.
stuff.
So
It's so bad. It's like so Lawnmower Man-ish. Like, guys, I wish you guys knew what the internet was.
Yeah.
Gary, why don't you ask Pamela Anderson what the internet is?
Yeah.
Like I bet she knows.
Yeah.
If not, she's gonna find out very soon.
I would say this, that where I think that will make the Sam and the Charlie Kapitsky the same is that from an emotional standpoint as an audience, we're supposed to hold them in a similar regard.
Okay. We could say that. I just did it out. You know, when I was watching that, I just think it's much sloppier in Barb Wire.
Oh, it's
so much sloppier.
obviously
That's just
sloppy.
what it is,
It's
but-
super fucking sloppy. Because Charlie actually, you could do the movie without Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie is borderline irrelevant.
Yeah, because all he has to do
Sam's actually important.
That guy just has to be in the bar.
Yes,
Like, he
yes.
doesn't have... But Jango Fett just has to show up in the bar, and she will eventually find him.
Only reason Charlie's important is they said that he was her brother.
Yeah. It's also the last thing, like, she could... You know, she's protecting is the bar and him.
Mm-hmm. And she makes references throughout this. She didn't realize how tied into, like, the revolution Charlie still was.
Yeah.
Because she assumed that, like herself, Charlie had decided that this revolution wasn't worth her
Who
time.
fucking wants him? He's like a drunk blind dude.
Yeah.
Like, who wants... And
He
I love
some
the-
moments throughout the film, like with the...
when he pulls the thing out of the retina, which...
Well, like,
and by the way, he's
should we
the
talk about-
soberest drunk I've ever
he
seen in
really
my life.
was.
He's like, how old is he at? 11? He's like, I'm fine. He's like, he is fine. This guy can drive an ambulance, except for the fact that he's blind.
Yeah. So, this is actually a good opportunity to talk about... I'm fucking shocked at how much work we're going to have to do to talk about these two films. This is a good opportunity to talk about our... I called it a MacGuffin. You don't necessarily have to call it a MacGuffin, but like, in both films, there's a thing that can get you out of Steel Harbor.
Yes.
Or Casablanca. Wait. Can we pull it back a little bit?
Sure. Let's pull it
pull
back.
back.
Let's reel it in, baby.
Let's reel it in. So we talked
Reel it in,
about
Papa.
Rick Blaine
Yes.
and Barbara Kapitsky.
Yes.
And who they are as people. But like, I guess we should talk about their individual wars and how they got to these places.
Yes. Okay, we can do that.
So,
I got a big question about Barbara, but go ahead.
okay. So Casablanca, whatever. I'm gonna say Blanca. I think it's just how I talk.
Casablanca.
Again, based off of the real fucking Second World War. After France is toppled by the Germans, there is a region in Africa, Casablanca,
Morocco.
in Morocco, where it's like a neutral zone, right? Like no one quite owns it. Like the Nazis still have influence, but they also don't control it.
They
have
don't
to
occupy it. Yeah.
correct. So they have to like, they can't just do whatever they want because they're not running the show out there. But they still have an outsized influence.
Yes.
Because of how fraught the Second World War is, if you've never heard about it, maybe you should do some research.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place to be, but it is the jumping off point of like escaping from the region. And that's why ultimately it's a very important place and why Rick has been able to carve out an existence for himself, because there's a lot of shady, dangerous people.
And there's also a lot of people waiting around.
Yeah.
Like they waiting around for years.
Years.
To get out.
Just trying to get out.
Legally. Legally. And then also doing illegal things that they kind of do in his bar. And he kind of looks the other way, but he also...
But like...
He also doesn't encourage, he doesn't help them.
Right.
Except until one guy that
He's neutral.
He's as neutral as it gets. But also, then he's the guy, it really kicks off. So when a guy comes in, he has that voice. Rick, I need your help. Rick. And he has transfer papers that will get someone out of the country, and he's trying to leave, but he killed 2 German soldiers to get them.
Right.
And he's like, Rick, can you hide these for me? I can't be caught with them, because then they'll know I killed him.
Yeah, so that was Peter Lorre.
Yeah, Peter Lorre.
Who played Ugarte in Casablanca.
And he's killed by the Germans coming, because they know it was him anyway. And Rick has the papers now. Now he has a means of escaping. In Barb Wire, it's a pair of contact lenses.
Yeah, okay. So, Casablanca, very easy for us to wrap our head around, right? Because it's the Second World War. We understand who the Nazis are. We understand who the, the Allied forces are, right? Fighting against them. Really easy to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Super easy.
High stakes, world domination.
Right, right. It's a 96 film, but it's the year 2017. Steel Harbor, a place, in California?
I was going to say this too. Where do you think? I think it's in Seattle.
Interesting. I read it's called like a San Francisco.
Maybe, okay, San Francisco, it could be that. Mm-hmm. I mean...
Seattle works.
Seattle. The only thing that's different about that it's not Seattle is the weather.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. But I figured that it was close to.
Shit.
I also, I guess that's true. But I figured that it was close to the Canadian border.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. Because Canada plays a big part.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. They're trying to get to Canada, and even there's a bunch of times for those of you at home, that she demands to be. She's also a bounty hunter in her spare time. Which why?
Yeah, no point.
That's one of the things that doesn't make any sense. Like, wait, but your bar, we need money to pay out the payroll. Your bar is packed every night.
Right.
And how do these people not know you're a bounty hunter? Have you seen yourself?
Right.
You're gorgeous.
Right.
They're gonna know you.
But we know, right? Like, there's no other bounty hunter.
In the one free city, you have the most popular bar, and they know Barb Wire owns this bar.
Right.
I know Mitzi Shore. I don't want to fucking fuck Mitzi Shore.
Sure. And that's a good point. Like, Rick Blaine, it's not like Rick Blaine is like Batman.
No, he's not. He's sitting there playing chess via mail.
Yeah.
Smoking bogeys and getting fucked up by himself.
God. So, here, boy, there's so much to unpack, which is really goddamn weird.
It's just an added thing that's so unnecessary.
Yes.
With her bounty hunting. It's like, first of all, how does she go under, look at her. How do they not know when she, it starts off with her being a stripper. It's like, of course it is.
Right.
Of course.
So that, to me, was actually when that first, the opening scenes of Barb Wire is like, okay, Jesus Christ, let's talk about that. I may even have to put footage into this right here. The movie opens,
It'd be difficult.
Opening credit. Yeah, I probably can't legally. Opening credits, like we're seeing a stripper.
Yeah, you're seeing Barb Wire. We're seeing Pamela Anderson strip.
But
with
titties out.
Yeah, kinda
getting sprayed with water. And there's guys in like see-through raincoats spraying her with water, and they're just getting her all soapy and watery, and it's confusing, and I don't know what's going on.
Highly erotic.
It's highly erotic, and it adds nothing to the plot. It actually subtracts from the plot because I was very confused. Because you were like, this movie's like Casablanca, and I'm like,
how is this like Casablanca?
How?
When does Rick fucking strip?
Rick doesn't.
He doesn't. He doesn't even. I don't think he even unbuttons his top button.
I don't think he does.
Throughout the entire film.
Good fashion in.
Oh man, it really does. All those sometimes those old movies are like
little double-breasted.
I'm like, yeah, get away from that.
Something like this barbed wire leather I'm wearing.
Yeah. And then it's her getting
sprayed with a bunch of water.
Sprayed with a bunch of water. Gets called babe. She throws a shoe at the guy's head.
Do not call her babe.
Do not call her babe.
She's like Lola Bunny. Do not call me babe.
But okay, don't call her babe. But how when she and the guy that she like sizes up so you know she's badass takes off her stiletto heel and whips it at the guy and the front part of the toe part of the heel gets lodged in the guy's mouth and the heel goes right in his forehead. Yeah. How does that hurt?
It must have hurt quite a bit.
It went like he is out cold.
Yeah.
Out cold. Like this is Rocky didn't get hit that hard.
It was like he clearly lives, but like
and then he drag him out. He's like, oh, and the shoe is still lodged in his head.
If they didn't drag him out, it's almost like the implication is that he was killed,
dead,
like dead because a
minor sexist comment. I mean, sexist comment.
Yeah, half a pound shoe was whipped at
that
him.
she was just. She's been walking on and dancing with, and she has the other one on still.
And honestly, these days and age, with like the advent of OnlyFans, I think that guy could have paid a lot of money for a barbed wire boot.
That's true.
Ooh,
Lord.
I would have sold
and
that for 2 tickets to Canada.
Yeah, and then she walks out like she's walking like one leg.
Yeah, with one foot. Yeah.
It's so. One other person calls me babe.
So I guess the reason I wanted to bring this point up, right, is the build-up, right? Like, Barbed Wire takes these extraordinary measures to try to build up this character.
Yes.
Titties, the shoe, hitting people, don't call me babe. I personally prefer the simplicity of Casablanca.
Yeah, that he's just sitting there like, I don't give a fuck.
And like his
and he's miserable.
He is miserable. That's true. But like his claim to fame, or like what makes him this elevated character, is that people come to him and they say, "You know what's up."
Yeah, you know all the people, all the cool people.
Yep.
You know them.
And everyone's looking for some kind of favor, right? And like that's all you need. Like Barbed Wire has to like. She's got to do a backflip off a motorcycle, throw a fucking shoe, take her titty out, and it's like.
Have you ever seen Batman when she has the fucking, the bat gun?
No, the batter, not the battering, but like the grappling hook.
Grappling hook. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah,
so that's why she's at the strip club.
Yeah.
She's a stripper. Because the guy, first of all, how does the guy not know who she is?
I don't know.
She's got to be the hottest woman in that world.
Must be.
Has to be.
There's barely.
She's the hottest woman. Yeah, there's barely any women in this world. How do you not know who she is? That's what I mean. Like, how does her business work at all? And then, but why do you need the business? Your bar is thriving.
Right. Like, are you a bounty hunter or are you a bar owner?
Correct. But she's supplementing the income for the bounty hunting to fuel the bar. It's like, why?
Yeah.
If it's that much of a drain on your personal economy, why bother doing either one?
Yeah.
Like, why bother running the bar? And you can just be a bounty hunter full time, and just when you need money, you'll just kill someone, or do whatever, or be the bar owner because it's packed every night. It doesn't make sense. Like, why do you need to go out risking your life?
Yeah, if you're struggling
in a fucking corset.
If you're struggling for money, like, why did you hire a full band?
Yeah,
you could have just played music.
Yes, just play music.
You didn't have to pay anybody. You didn't have to pay Curly.
There's not room to walk. soldiers coming up, Miss Wire, can you dance with that? They obviously know she's famous.
It's the only place to go.
Yeah, it's the only place because she's literally sitting on a gold mountain. How much are the drinks? She can charge whatever she wants. It doesn't make sense.
Shit, yeah. No, it doesn't make
Then
sense.
she goes out and, like, she gets the other guy, she fucking goes out to get the guy for Clint Howard,
Yeah, yeah.
which Clint Howard, phenomenal in this film.
Yeah.
Ron Howard's younger brother, mwah, phenomenal.
Good job, Clint.
But she picks up a guy pretending to be a prostitute. How does he not know who she is?
Yeah, Clint Howard is Schmitz.
Schmidt.
No, I agree.
It doesn't, and then he's like, oh, you got your clean, your health card? And she's like, I just checked yesterday. Oh, God. It's one of it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense.
That opening sequence
It's like,
hurts
clearly-
the film.
And then she, like, the guy comes over to her, the manager, who she knocks out or kills with the blow dart from the cigarette, I guess.
I think she just knocks him out.
I guess, whatever. But no, they drag him out. He's like still dead.
Yeah,
They drag him later, and then but she's like right next to where someone's daughter was kidnapped. Like,
Yeah, wait.
are you really that hard up for strippers? What's going on here?
Almost forgot the things that you're describing.
Yes,
Like, you're right. There is a blow dart in the cigarettes that knocks out
Yes.
the guy. There is a fucking high heel that goes into a guy's head. There is the spraying of the water.
The grappling hook.
The grappling hook. The
then-
guy, and I got this guy, and I gotta sell him. He's worth more dead or alive, and it doesn't matter.
And then also then she goes to the guy. She brings that girl back to her parents, and the parents are like, "Well, we only got half the money." I'm sorry, you're hiring a bounty hunter
Right.
to go get your daughter, and your plan is to screw the person over.
Right.
Like that's.
Because, like, in this universe, what should happen is Barb Wire should be like, I'll take half the money and I'm going to shoot your daughter.
Yeah, I'll
Like-
take care of your. Like, I'll literally kill all
I'll
of you.
kill you all.
Yeah,
Because,
I
like,
don't
that
give a
wasn't
fuck.
the deal.
Because you know what? I'm friends with the police chief.
Mhm.
He's in my bar right now. My very successful bar drinking.
Jesus.
And on the contrary, Casablanca, it shows Rick smoking a cigarette and drinking and playing chess by mail.
Right.
Very, little different.
Sure.
Little
Sure.
different.
So,
And you basically know everything about it, and people keep trying to buy him, which I love, by the way. People that buy him drinks, he's like, no.
yeah.
He's that's what I love. That's how great. I so want to drink in Rick's Cafe Americana.
It's a
You have
great looking
I
bar,
want to
bro.
go. It looks like so much fun. But they have I've had this discussion with Reggie so much.
Sure.
That with a place that I love to go in Atlantic City, the White House Sub
Yeah,
Shop.
it's a great spot.
As you know, it's a wonderful sandwich, and probably my favorite sandwich. But when you go in there, they are not particularly nice to you, and that's what Rick is. He's not very nice to you ever.
But-
He doesn't care.
But, like,
He's like, look around you. You think I give a fuck about having a drink with you?
but see, in a film where
You haven't even got to the love part yet.
we really haven't, there's so much to unpack. Weirdly, I wasn't expecting this, but here we are. In a film where, like, Rick's Cafe is a rogues gallery.
Yes.
That's what it is, you know. And that's kind of like when you were saying about like White House Subs, an actual place in Atlantic City. Yeah, a rogue doesn't want the best customer service.
No.
They just want like keep it moving, bro.
Keep
Like,
it
100.
moving. Let's keep the party going. Even when they kill the guy, even when they kill Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
That he. By the way, it's a different Peter Lorre.
It is a different Peter Lorre.
from the
Interesting.
Rat Pack.
Mhm.
But when they kill him, immediately Rick's like, play music. Sam, keep playing.
Yep.
Because they tell him that they're gonna kill him.
Right.
Like, they're gonna kill someone.
No.
So he knows that someone's gonna get killed in there.
Right. Well, in the 42 film, boy, all right, we're at this point now.
You just say Casablanca.
Yes, in Casablanca, Claude Rains plays Captain Louis Renault.
In Lisbon. Would like to be on it.
Why? What's in Lisbon?
Good clipper to America.
Phenomenal, by the way. Fucking great.
Great.
He either got nominated or he won an Oscar for this.
He really should have.
I know he definitely did. I don't know which one, but he's so good.
He, like, weirdly, kind of the glue of the film. Like,
yeah.
his connection to both sides of this equation, and like his ability, like Rick also knows. By the way, Casablanca has so many fucking quotables.
Oh yeah,
especially between these two towards the end. But like,
well, first of all, Claude has the line of the movie for me.
Yeah.
Like, so, what's your nationality, Rick? And Claude Rains goes, Rick's a drunkard. That makes him a citizen of the world.
Yeah,
that's the best line. That's kind of true. If you're fucking drink enough with people, they will accept you.
But like, just this guy who he's friends with Rick, kind of, but also he'll also turn him over.
Yeah,
immediately.
but they both know it, and at the same time, he's like, "Yo, if it'll protect my bar, I'll kill this guy too."
Right.
Like, he's like, "I'll kill Claude Rains in a heartbeat."
Right.
And it's a symbiotic relationship. Like,
it really is.
I let you keep. Yeah, you come in here. I let you keep winning at roulette, and
Yes.
my bar doesn't
So
close.
many good lines
and he's
like
like,
that.
"Yeah, that's right."
Yeah, yeah.
And then he gets a check, and then he doesn't pay the check ever.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, I like getting the check, so I know how much I'm not paying.
Right. It's actually phenomenal.
And when they bust up the bar, one of the best gags one of the only laughs in the movie.
Yeah.
Is when he's like, "Hold on, no, my chips. All right, break it up." He takes all his chips.
So good. I guess the equivalent in Barb Wire.
Oh, it's definitely that guy from the.
What, Ron Balicki?
Let me see.
That's him?
No.
No. Yeah. In Barb Wire, I guess the equivalent would be Xander Berkeley's Alexander Willis.
I want you to know I had nothing to do with what happened to Charlie. I'm sorry.
He's definitely by far the closest. But,
He's super close. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, just.
But he's not. There's nowhere.
Balicki's so much. Sorry, I'm saying Balicki. Hold up. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna be jumping.
Claude Rains?
Yeah, Claude Rains is so much.
Oh, he's so much better at it. But also, there's like, it gets so. It's kind of like they don't know. Also, like, does he not know who she is? Like, she owns this bar, and there's a see. That's why it doesn't.
That's the problem, Barb Wire.
Yeah, but he has the authority position, but she's like, she's paying him off, but it's also there's a weird like sexual overtones to it.
There is.
Of like almost
by the end of the film, right? So like.
But that's what I like about the Casablanca. Like, there is none.
No.
It's like, this is clearly a business relationship. And
That's it.
by the way, and it comes down to if it's your neck or mine, it's going to be yours.
Of course,
both of them.
Of course, and
they both understand that. And that they can almost rely on that.
But like that the classic line. There's no honor amongst thieves.
No.
Right, and like actually, that makes him Rick's best friend.
It is, yeah, because he's like, I'm not going to stick your neck out for me, but you know you could buy me.
Right, and like. That relationship, and by the end of the film, you get the classic line. I'm thinking this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Right? Like, Rick knows what it... Honestly, like, if you were living this life, the stability of knowing where you stand with someone.
Yeah, in this world.
Exactly. In that world, knowing that, like, look, even though, like, the minute he gets a chance, he'll probably fuck me over, and I would do the same. Like, the fact that we both know this, that's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is.
It actually is, like, comforting in a weird, roundabout way. Yeah, but, like, the sexual energy is different. So, like...
Yeah, it has a whole other dynamic that's, like I don't know, do you not know she'll kill you?
Yeah, like, when so, like, at the end of, Casablanca, and this will all make sense when we get to the end, but, like, when Rick tells, Rains.
Yeah.
That this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. It's a fucking great line. First of all, Casablanca is one of the most quotable films of all time, easily. In Barb Wire, with Xander, the line is like, I think I'm in love with you. And she says, get in line. Okay.
All right. So we're going to just keep doing this. But he's clearly like going in there hoping that something works. Like he either like it's almost like a predatory thing.
It is.
But in both cases, like, but in the Casablanca, yeah, there's a predatory, but they're both predators.
Right.
Like this guy's not giving her the due that she is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's.
But she's very dangerous.
Yes, I think that's the problem with Barb Wire, with this portrayal, And like when
That's it.
Yes.
That's the number one problem.
yeah,
Not that this movie stinks.
yeah, that too. But like the problem is the multiple messaging. Like ultimately, Casablanca is a much more straightforward in terms of like the players and what their role is. It's a much more straightforward film.
Yes.
Versus Barb Wire is trying to do this like comic book. Let me show you how badass this chick is.
Exactly.
And
It's over the
then I'll show you.
It's so understated. Rick's badassery is so understated.
It's there. Like you don't need to.
You don't need to see him do anything.
Like it's implied.
He's just, I don't give a fuck.
First of all, how the fuck did he get a bar?
Exactly. Who knows?
That's crazy.
Doesn't matter.
That's crazy.
He went from
Africa.
He went from America to Paris. Does he speak French?
No,
I don't think so.
It does not appear so.
Never came up.
Mhm.
And then he goes to. Then he flies. He gets shafted by the lady.
Yep.
And then goes. Then he's heartbroken in Casablanca.
Sure.
Somehow opens a bar.
Yeah.
And it's like the spot.
It's the spot. Like it is. If you are a person, a foreigner in Casablanca, which is a lot of people right now because of the war, that's where you're going.
Yeah.
And especially if you're trying to make some kind of illicit move. And like the fact that Rick owns the bar, that also was the place where people are trying to make criminal moves, elevates Rick to the point where it's like, yo, Rick must be. Like, you don't need to see what Rick does. Like, clearly Rick is that dude because everybody that's anybody knows not to fuck with.
Not to fuck with him, but also if you really need help, he will help you.
Yeah, yes.
Like in a roundabout way.
Yes.
But kind of at a price, like as long as it's not sticking his neck out. Like he helps the people that are the refugees trying to get home and they don't have any money.
Right.
And he's like, okay, my husband's gambling and he's losing, he's not doing well. And he's like, okay. And he goes up, he's like, I bet 23. And he looks at the roulette dealer. And then he's like, he wins. And then he's like, no, I'd let it ride.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, because then his hands are clean of it.
Right.
Like, he didn't actually give him any money. He won the money. What are you going to say? People win.
That's fair.
And there's
That's
not
a great
cameras
point.
there.
That's a great point.
And yet at the same time, he wouldn't have bet 23 or whatever it was. 24. Whatever,
That's a great
what
point.
number it was. But so he like it's like the subtlety of a conscience.
Yeah.
But he's not going to stick his neck out to help them.
So
And so it's so much more badass.
We were talking about this this actor earlier, and I think that there's a parallel here. We were talking about Harrison Ford a little bit earlier today. Han Solo, right? Ultimately, guy doesn't know shit, doesn't want to get involved, but no matter how like much of a rogue he is, he reads hero.
Yeah.
Rick is the same thing. He
Absolutely.
He's a rogue, but his general bent is towards the good side of this equation. So, like, to your point, like, look, I'm not gonna.
He is an American at the end of the day.
Yes.
Like he's against the Nazis, but he's just not going to say he is because he wants to live.
Correct.
He's not. He's not living in a pool.
Yes.
He's living in the ocean.
Yes. And like going back to that, like regardless, as we talked about before, regardless of what his morality is, ultimately, his first instinct, and it's the right call, is to keep on living.
That's correct.
And Rick is very good at that. Barb Wire, to your point, is not doing things that will ensure that she's going to continue to live.
If anything, the opposite. Like,
correct.
If she gets involved, puts her neck out all the time for her own self.
Right, sure. Like, ultimately for, like, money.
Yeah.
Mostly. But it correct. It doesn't make sense because Rick makes sense because he's like, hey, look, this is what I got. This works for me. Don't ask me for anything.
Yeah, don't ask. I'm happy here.
This is what it is.
You want to come in for a drink? I serve Nazis.
Yeah.
I'll serve Jews. I'll serve whoever you want.
Correct.
Like, I'll serve with the best of them. I'll serve sultans. I'll serve peasants. I'll serve whoever wants a drink.
Barb will like do a fucking backflip over an explosive to try to like take some guy in and like make a couple more dollars. And to your point, it doesn't make any sense to like just make the money at the bar, or just be a fucking bounty hunter,
or just be a bounty hunter. Just don't have the bar.
Pick one. Yeah. Because like it's not like you're less conspicuous
Not at all. You look exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you're wearing a mask or anything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're...
There's no like superhero costume. It's not like a Clark Kent thing. It's like,
You're
oh,
wearing-
there's Barb. There's Barb.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's like the best tits in Steel City.
Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty nice.
And yeah, it's. I mean, it's a course. You're in a black corset, black corset, black corset, black corset, leather jacket, black corset, leather jacket, black corset.
So fucking weird.
Yeah, it doesn't make any. And then their world is turned upside down when an old lover is introduced to the world.
Yes. This is true. In Casablanca, that old lover is Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman, who plays Ilsa Lund.
You knew how much I loved you, how much I still loved you.
And in Barb Wire, it's Tamira Morrison, who plays Axel. And then
AKA.
Oh, go ahead. Jango
Boba Fett.
/ Boba Fett. Who is also connected to another character in the films. In Casablanca, Paul Heinrich, who's Victor Laszlo.
Sometimes wonder if it's worth all this. I mean, what you're fighting for. Might as well question why we breathe.
Victor Laszlo, which is a great name, by the way.
It's
Victor Laszlo.
With his cool ass scar.
Yes.
Which is kind of sick.
Yeah, he's a scientist freedom fighter that is. I don't. In Casablanca,
he's a scientist freedom fighter. Who was in a concentration camp.
He was in a concentration camp, and Ilsa thought he was dead, and after she mourned him and he died, she fell in love with Rick in Paris. Right. And once Paris became occupied by the Germans, she learned that he was still alive.
Right. And
that's such a good. Like, what a conundrum. First, Ingrid Bergman is perfect. She's great in this movie.
Sure.
But that tearing, it's like, like this. You got this guy that she was in love with. She was in love, and then he gets sent to it, and she thought he died. So she's not cheating on him. And then she meets a great guy that she falls in love with again. And then this guy she finds out is not dead. It's like, he didn't do anything, so I can't really leave him. Like, and I still do love him, but I fucking love this guy.
It's a great fucking.
It is such a great,
it's a great fucking
pull, and she's also very strong and she's beautiful too. But it's such a great, and she does it so well, and it's in the wrong hands, that could be such a whiny character.
It could be, and it wasn't.
It wasn't at all, and it's also, I don't know. Go ahead. So she's Axel,
and then I believe Victoria Rowell, who's Dr. Corinna Cordy Devonshire.
Go out through the back.
Scan him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
let's. This is also asinine too.
Yeah, this is asinine. Let's go back to the good movie.
Yes, but the whole point of, let's just talk about Barb Wire for a second, and the fact of there is no man on the planet that would not just go with Pamela Anderson, right? That's
and even in the film he chooses, like, he's still connected to the chick, and he's like, I don't see her around, and they're like hooking up.
Yeah,
still
immediately.
And
there's no way that even
she's like, I don't want to interrupt you. Like,
I'll fucking get the AIDS right now.
Yeah.
I'll give me the AIDS, and I will.
Red ribbon.
Yeah,
AIDS,
red ribbon
baby.
AIDS. I'll be dead tomorrow. Die happy. That's fine. There's not, so it doesn't make any sense. Whereas her decision is much more like, this is a lot harder.
It's so much.
It's like,
smarter.
bitch, you're on your own, Canada. You get to Canada on your own. I'll be here with her. Here's the lenses. To the tank full of gas.
To your point, right? Ingrid Bergman, right? Who has this relationship with Victor Laszlo, who, by the way, actually, I appreciate the film bigging up Victor Laszlo the way he is. He's like this, like, almost, this is aggressive, but he's almost like the Martin Luther King of this universe. Like, people respect him and want to, like, he's a figurehead more than he is just like this doctor, right? Like, people.
He's both.
He is both.
Yeah.
He's both useful in terms of his utility, but also
hopeful.
Yes, because here's a man who was under the foot of the Nazis in a concentration camp who managed to escape and who continues his freedom fighting to this day. And you see like different characters throughout the film.
Agreed.
Like, I am a freedom fighter like you. How can I help you? And like he's an inspiring figure. And actually, which is super goddamn rare and a very important fact, someone that Rick respects.
He respects, and the easy way out is to make him a dick.
Yes.
You know, like it's like when you see like some rom-com movie, like they do in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So like that she gets remarried, and the stepfather is a cool guy.
Right.
Like it's so much more interesting that
Yes.
way. Like or in Liar Liar, like you have Carrie Elways who's like, he's super nice.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing bad about him. Like
true.
that makes it so much different. That like. Oh, maybe that guy is an asshole. Am I an asshole? Like it's
right.
Like, this guy. Not only is he like a cool guy, he's a good-looking guy, but he's also like awesome.
Yeah,
like like he's doing something good for humanity.
Yes, and I guess if there is a flaw, and I guess you could say it's a flaw for Rick. Rick being this like survivalist neutral party, who like isn't necessarily always standing up for his true convictions. Victor Laszlo's not that guy at all. No matter the consequence,
sacrifice himself.
Yes,
without
he's willing to die. Which in his universe, to be fair, is stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like you're going to die. However, the bravery of making that choice is what makes him such a heroic figure, and someone that like Rick can't just dismiss.
And then on the other side, the Doctor in Barb Wire, she's like, "You gotta get me out of here." She's not like it's not like he's sitting there like, I'll kill me at this table. I don't give a fuck. Like, go ahead. I dare you.
Well, one of the things that undermines it, like Barb Wire does things like this that are too fucking cute and confusing. So like, it's already enough. Okay, so this is a weird aside. I hate to go here. In Barb Wire, the Nazi secret police type characters actually have a lot of power and control. Now they do in Casablanca as well, but like more so in Barb Wire. Like they have the authority to do basically whatever they want, capture people. So this character, Victoria Rockwell, has to change her appearance to continue to survive. Victor Laszlo is easily recognized.
Yeah, the Nazis recognize him right away. They have a drink with him.
Yes.
And they sit there like, you escaped.
Yeah, correct. He escaped the concentration camp. And Victor Laszlo's like, yeah, dog, that's me. Here I am. Right here, bro. What you gonna do about it? Like, his lack of fear in the situation where, like, everyone else in the universe is living in fear, including Rick, which...
Go ahead. No, I have a comment to make.
Sure. To a certain extent, right? Like, who are saying like, "Hey, look, man, we don't want any trouble." And Victor Laszlo, bring the goddamn trouble. Yeah. Right? Like that's pretty impressive by taking that element out in Barb Wire and having them like, I changed my face. I used to be this other black chick, now I'm this black chick. It's like, why, bro? Like you already are in an unoccupied space. Like this idea that I have to change my face. I guess it elevates like their escape to make it more fraught, but like it actually undermines the character because like. She's not a freedom fighter. She's a fucking scared
scientist.
Yeah,
scared scientist.
That's it. Victor Laszlo is a fucking hero.
He's a G.
Yeah.
I agree. But my only thing is, I don't know if so. When the Nazis come up to him in Rick's, and they come up to him and they say like, "You're Victor Laszlo," and he's like, "Yep." And he's like, "What up?" And then I don't know if he makes it out of there if Rick doesn't show up.
That's fair.
And he goes over there specifically. I mean, I think he goes over there because Elsa's there.
Yeah.
But he stays because he's like, if I don't. But at the same time, in the back of Rick's head, I bet like it's like looking at him and the captain. Like, if I have to, I'm going to kill this guy.
Right.
Like, I'm going to kill him, and like he's not taking him out of here, and he's certainly not going to kill him here.
Right.
Like that's not going to happen. I'll kill him, and we will cover this up.
Yeah.
And I will pay you whatever you want, but this guy is not. So I think because Rick is there, that said like he won't stand up. That's his way of standing up. He's actually because he's there, he's protecting him.
Well, that is
that he doesn't even know that.
That is a great point, right? So like, because I do get how you got here in the conversation. Because when I said Rick is scared, right? It's like in the sense that
not
Rick,
scared. He just doesn't stand up,
right? Because he knows not to. It's like whack-a-mole. Like I'm not going to stick my neck out.
Yeah.
For who? For what? Right? In this particular case, Rick is going back on this instinct. He's saying, "I would stand up for that."
Yeah.
Right? Because like,
But also the
I
way he's
believe
standing
that.
up for it is very subtle.
Yes, it is.
But it is very
But that's
important.
Rick.
It's also very important
Yes.
what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. No, that is ultimately like in Casablanca. The ultimate thing is that Rick knows where the lines are, knows how to walk right on that goddamn line, and make it work. And yes, Victor Laszlo doesn't stand a chance without Rick.
Definitely not.
He's not going to make it out in, like you said, night one.
And also,
without Rick.
What's brilliant about him too is that how could he trust him? Like, this guy was fucking my wife.
Right.
Granted, he's like, I get it, and yeah, he's talking to her, but maybe he wants to get back with her. Like they said, they fell in love.
Yeah,
She told him the whole story.
Certainly.
So
it's kind of
if he gets me out of here, if he gets me out of the way, then he could be with my wife.
Well,
that's pretty. That's also. It's like I might get killed for a completely different reason that I didn't see coming.
Right. Well, ultimately, which is what makes Rick a hero, not an anti-hero, like an actual hero, is that Rick. It's in his best interest to get Victor Laszlo out of the way.
Kill him. Yes.
Yep.
He could live happily ever after if he shot him right there at the table in front of everyone.
There's plenty of opportunities to do it.
Yes.
Throughout the film, there's plenty of opportunities to just take advantage of the situation.
Or not kill him, just not help him.
Yes. And like ultimately, when we get to the end of the film, Rick's sacrifice, because that's truly what it is. He's got the opportunity to do whatever he wants, and walk off the girl and all this shit. And he says, "I think that it's bigger than that. Like my happiness is not as important as this person's influence on the outcome of this war." And he says, he even has the line, like I'm gonna mess the quote up, but like, look, the lives are like the story of three.
The lives of three people don't amount to a hill of beans in this crazy world.
Yes, and he's right. Like Rick has the clarity to say, "Fuck, this sucks."
Yeah, it's like, God damn it,
I would really like to.
By the way, in that movie, he's the exact same age I am right now. Like, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah, he looks.
Like they say it too, and he's like, "Yup."
He looks ancient.
Yeah, well, we both look pretty hard.
Yeah,
but anyway, he so when he does that, but he also says like to her, he's like, "You'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but you'll regret it."
Right.
And he's dead ass.
No.
Now, here's my question.
Okay, sure.
Would if he said, "Nah, just come back with me"?
Yeah.
Would she? Do you think she would?
Yeah.
As long as he got him out of there, he got Victor out.
Yeah, I think that. Here's the thing. Like after watching that film, I think Rick has the sauce, man. I think he just has the juice.
He's got just slinging that D.
Yeah, dude. Like I think they're like
that Casa D.
It's his call. At the end, it's his call. He's like, look, please, bitch, please, relax. All right.
I know.
Yeah, no, me and you, it works. It would still work, and I would love for that to work, but this is way you get out of here. It's more important. Like, yeah, no, if Rick chose, I think that, now maybe this is my own interpretation, my own sort of ego about dick slingers like this. I think that Rick is in complete control of the situation from top to bottom and has chosen the righteous path.
He is until one time he is not in control at all.
Sure.
And that's at the very end when the captain is like round up the usual stuff. He is in his hands at that exact moment.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
That he's like...
But that's why the beautiful friend.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
but he almost has nothing to gain by keeping Rick alive other than like, he's my friend.
Yeah. But, the captain throughout the film shows signs of, again, subtly, kind of like Rick, that like, he don't fuck the Nazis either.
No, he makes sure of that. He makes you very well know that.
Yeah, and it's like, this is a relationship of convenience. They're like, I'm not sticking my neck. Rick, too, is like, we are not sticking our necks out. But like,
he's almost the opposite, though, in the fact of, like, Rick is like, I'm not talking to anyone. He's like, oh, no, they're here right now. Hey, what's up? Hey, how are you?
Yeah. No, it's a great point.
I got mind control over Debo.
I got mind control. In this moment, and you're 100% right, in this moment, the captain has complete control of Rick's fortunes, future, all this stuff. And he makes the choice that he makes. And, Rick And you can see the turn in Rick's face when like he's like round up the usual suspects. He's like, oh,
And he's like, huh, okay,
cool,
yeah, cool,
you know,
yeah,
because like,
it's like okay,
yeah,
like he's holding the murder weapon,
right,
everything, all of it. But even, and then there is none of that in Barbed Wire, really.
no, that's not there at all.
And there's zero vulnerability. It's just like, get out of here. Okay. Then she's just.
But
See, I don't know if she necessarily she wants to get on the plane.
no, there's no like get on the plane equivalent.
No, not in that. I mean in Casablanca. I don't know if he asked her to stay. I don't know. I think she was kind of hoping for the way out with him. You know, with I don't know.
Victor with Rick.
If what Elsa
Elsa, right? But I mean, like the way out with Victor.
If I think she knows. Right? Well, the thing is, she knows it's the head of the heart. Like she knows the right.
The right call is get on the
plane with Victor Laszlo. But she wants to go with him. But at the same time,
okay, so
I think she probably, if he really asked her to, she probably would have thrown it away.
I agree.
Because also she says that in the like, you have to do the thinking for us. Bless you.
Yeah. So
and he's like, okay, I will. And then he even says it at the end, like, I'm doing the thinking for us. You get on that plane.
That's right. And all the like the lines in between, like these classic cinema lines, was like, look, we'll always have Paris, right? Like
we lost that till you came to Casablanca.
Yeah, Rick has this this sober assessment of the situation that does not benefit him, but he knows that like it benefits the world.
Yes.
And to your point, like I think that Elsa would certainly, like you said, whatever Rick decides is what I think she would do.
He gives up his happiness for the betterment of humanity.
Yes. Man.
And possibly freedom, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knows he's going to have to deal with this. He just killed that guy.
Oh, yeah. No,
he knows he just killed that guy, and so he's like, if I stay here, I might go to jail. Which, that's all the more reason why I think he killed the guy in America. Because that's exactly what he did, is got on a plane and left.
Right. No, I agree. It was like, okay, let me just get out of here.
Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this consequence of this guy at all.
I agree. Like,
but the only reason why he does is because as long as he has a gun, they get away.
Yeah.
So
and
he's literally put it. This is the only time he's put it out his neck. Completely.
And you're right. I know you talked about it earlier, but like the brilliance of the situation, which is that Elsa, to your point, she's not in the wrong because she thinks Victor's dead. He's not in the wrong because he doesn't know about Victor.
Yeah.
Right.
And Victor's not wrong because that's his wife.
Right.
So no one's in the wrong.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing the best for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, man,
it's so good. It's so good.
Good. It's so good. Barbed Wire loses all these elements.
It's terrible.
It's all
and at the same time, it's the point is moot.
Yeah.
Like, even if all those elements exist, you're like, I'm going with Pamela Anderson. This is not even a question.
Okay, yeah. You were just talking about like the hotness, the spray, the water, the titties,
it's like
jerking off.
I'm going with that.
Yeah, well, he actively chooses that throughout the film.
Yeah, until the end when he's like, thanks, Barb.
Yeah. Like, the scene, he's not even hiding it. Like, the scene where they're hooking up, and she's like, am I interrupting something? It's like, yeah, actually you are.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
They don't build up the doctor enough in Barbed Wire.
Yeah.
And I think
terrible
that by doing this whole element of, like, she changed her appearance, and they're on the run, and blah, blah. Like the whole entry point, the Ingrid Bergman, Humphrey Bogart thing works. Like the flashback, the Paris, and
first of all, the flashback is so good too. Because you see him as like they're both so much the way they act too. It's just like the acting. Like you can see how much happier he is. Two people in love, and he's so much happier. Like he's a miserable prick,
right,
throughout the movie. Yeah, and he's a curmudgeon. He's like, "Go fuck yourself."
But he's so happy.
And he's so happy. He's like thrilled. They're like drinking. They're like, "Look at these things over here."
And
Jesus.
It like
we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and it elevates. I guess the best you can. Like it elevates the Nazis because like their march on Paris is a point of great contention for so many people.
Yes.
Right. Like. Before they even arrive, it's like, oh shit, here here it comes. Like, what are we gonna do? Right? It's a big deal. So like, that whole Paris sequence is a great foundation for the rest of the film because we're asking ourselves, for one, we're learning about this relationship. Like we hear about it. The illusion. Play it again, Sam. You know, which by the way
is a misquote.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's one of the biggest misquotes in history of movies.
Yeah. Well, I'm misquoting it again.
No. Play it one time, Sam. And he's like, you played it for her, you can play it for me, Sam.
Yeah.
Like, but whatever, go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry.
But like,
it doesn't matter. You can say that.
No, it doesn't. Whatever. But like, also, just I don't know. Even that's missing, right? Like, which again, going back to why we were confused earlier. Like, there is no Sam in this movie because Charlie doesn't do anything. Charlie Kapitsky doesn't.
But he does know him.
Yeah, he knows him, but like, he doesn't do anything for us to make us feel this like love relationship. Sam, and again, like
he's the hallmark of that. He was there playing for them.
Yes, and like in this song, and it's like again that cold heart that Rick has calcified over the years of like, I had love, I lost love. Sam, never play this shit.
Never play this shit ever again.
We're done with that. She's gone. Yeah. I'm over.
And then he sees her, and his fucking world is over.
Yeah,
like,
even like the conflict, which is why Sam isn't just a caricature, like racist depiction or whatever. Like Sam's,
he knows what's gonna happen.
Yeah, his hesitation to play the song, his desire to not do this thing.
He's like, listen, I know you want to be. I know. It's like, not only am I flattered because you want to hear me sing it, I really want to please you.
Right.
But he's gonna be pissed off.
Right.
Like,
and why there is no Sam equivalent in Barb Wire is
closest is Charlie.
Well, yeah, but Charlie's dead, so he's not there at the end to play the song. Curly isn't in the movie basically after the retina contact lenses are introduced. He's basically out of the film,
and she gives him the bar.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like it's irrelevant. Like Casablanca takes all these elements, creates a character who is, I don't want to say kind of like an anti-hero, right? Who's decided to be kind of neutral. Put him in a point where he now has to choose
unwilling hero, I would say more than
anything.
Because he made the point that he fought the fascists in Spain before early, like so I would assume like 1937, around there. This is 42, so that he was in Paris in 1940 when they invaded. So it has to be like 37-ish, 38.
Sure.
So, but he makes it a point to say, no, they paid me.
Right.
Like I would have easily fought for the other. He's like, well, you should have picked the winning side. He's like, well, if I knew.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
But at the same time, I think that's just a red herring that he's saying that just to say. I mean, I think he got paid.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be like, maybe that was his bar money.
Maybe. Yeah, probably, possibly. But like, just. It's so much cleaner, right?
It's so much cleaner.
It's just cleaner.
But it's also, like, it's cleaner in the complication.
Yes.
The complication is like, you understand.
The complication
matters. I know, of course.
Versus being irrelevant.
Yeah, and as far as, like, everything, like, that they do, it's like, that's a tough decision. Like, I don't know. And then he's in possession of the papers to get them out of there, the visas.
Yeah.
And the travel visas. And because Peter Lorre brought them to the bar, and he sticks them out of all places, Sam's piano to hide them. Which, by the way, when he does it, it's like, did you guys not see him where he just put those?
Right.
Like, he's in the there's 400 people in here that saw him do that.
Right. But also, because it's Rick, there's 400 people who didn't see him do that.
That's true. But that's.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Everybody in there is waiting for a goddamn visa.
That's a good point. Okay, that's a good point.
Rick.
Yeah, that's.
What papers? Why did he put papers in that? That might be important.
You got me there. You got me there. Because like everyone's motivation is to get the fuck out of here.
I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And then he also has one for himself, and he's like, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go back to America, and then specifically doesn't.
Now, where subtlety, good writing, complexity that actually makes sense is the advantage of Casablanca. I will give Barb Wire this, especially towards the end of the film. Some of these action sequences are actually pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Pretty goddamn phenomenal.
Don't kid yourself. Barbed Wire, as far as look,
Yeah.
it looks great.
It's
really great.
It's a pretty
it looks
slick
great.
film.
And she
you know?
looked great.
Yeah, she looked
But
great.
the acting's terrible. The writing is
Oh,
gibberish.
yeah, garbage.
The dialogue
The
is
fat
terrible.
black guy towards the end.
Oh,
was like,
Big Fatso?
Yeah, Big Fatso. Jabba the Hutt, basically.
Yes. And then also
Same ending too, like same demise basically.
Yeah,
that's why Boba and Jango fed her.
Exactly, that's why he's used to it. He's used to working, and also he learned how to bounty hunt from her.
Of course. Well, the Barbed Wire universe in the Star Wars universe,
they're tied together.
Yeah, of course.
So,
although it could be true because Darth Vader does have a DC run at some point. There's
it's definitely that.
Yeah,
not even. It's not even close. That happened.
But like I remember when I was watching the sequence toward the end of Barbed Wire, when her and the villain. Well, I'm not even getting into actors.
Yeah, who cares?
Her and the big Nazi are fighting.
Who is so over the top. And there's a fun way to do that.
Yeah.
And he misses on every level.
100%. They give him like the RoboCop kind of death towards the end.
Yes.
Like, oh. And they okay. I'm jumping around a lot because I'm excited about the film. But like Barbed Wire and the big bad Nazi equivalent fight on a car that's being elevated by like a crane. And it's like actual stunt work.
Yes.
It looks pretty goddamn good.
And I think it is actually Pamela Anderson.
I believe so in certain parts of the scene. It's really, really impressive. I don't know why anyone's taking this type of risk for this film, but like,
yeah, she's really giving it. I mean,
she actually gave it.
She's giving it her all. I don't think she's the best actress.
No,
but she's trying her fucking best.
Honestly, the movie isn't bad because she's in it.
No, it's not.
The movie's bad because the script is bad.
The script is terrible. Like it's so.
She actually is the most interesting person in the film.
Yes. And I'm not gonna lie to you. She sounds pretty good when she talks that deep.
Yeah, it like I wish. Wish is a strong word. I appreciate that Pam Anderson took this opportunity and tried to run with it as best as she could. I guess if there was a wish that like the film, especially if you're gonna crib Casablanca, I wish they just like did it in a smarter way because like I think this was a good opportunity for her to I don't know, show off her star power. Like this movie is a victim of the time that it came out. To some degree, and it's a victim because like okay. Sorry. For whatever reason, these films make me want to jump around a lot. There's a film that I like that I know is a bad movie. It's called Tank Girl. It's got Lori Petty.
I knew this was going to come up.
I knew you knew.
I knew. I was going to bring a bell.
We've been friends for years. Tank Girl is a movie starring Lori Petty and Naomi Watts and Malcolm McDowell, who basically is the big Nazi equivalent in the film. Ice-T's in it at one point. Jim Brewer's in it. It's a bad movie. But a movie that's probably remembered more favorably than this film. Not for, honestly, a lot of great reasons. It's just like, it's a slightly better movie that came out this time. Barbed Wire is just as shitty as any other movie that came out in 96. Yeah. Like this. Like, it's not like much more shitty than movies that came out around this time.
You know what? If you tweaked a couple things, it would actually hit the mark a
little
little bit.
It would, I agree.
Like, it's not... Like if you got better actors, and it's like they took the whole budget to make it look great when you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And like not that you have to make it look like bad, but there's some explosions. It's like why?
Yeah.
Like why does this need to be happening? It's like well, it's an action movie, I guess, but
yeah, like when the movie, of course it is, but like when the movie is Casablanca, it's working.
Yeah.
When the movie is not Casablanca, it's not working.
Yeah, and then but look at like Casablanca. There's what, like 7 gunshots in the movie?
Yeah.
And there's no explosions, no nothing.
Casablanca is actually written between the lines.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is why it's phenomenal. And then has like these quotable, like the quotes, how do you put it? They solidify what's implied. like when the quotes come out and they work, it's like these moments where like, here's us acknowledging the thing. We'll always have Paris. Here's looking at you, kid. The beginning of a good friendship. Like, all this is like, they already had a good friendship. But in this moment where the guy didn't dime him out, it's like, oh shit, I guess you're more of my boy than I thought. Like, all those little quotables throughout the film.
Yeah, but also, like, when even the subtlety of, at the end, when the Nazi's about to call the guard out to make sure the plane doesn't take off.
Yeah.
And he's like the same when, what I was saying, when Bogart sits down, he's protecting Laszlo.
Right.
That he's doing that. And even then, he's like, put the phone down. And the guy doesn't know he has a gun.
Right.
So he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
And he picks up the phone, and then he pulls out the gun. He's like, you do it again. Like, put down the phone. He starts, like, doing it, and ba-ba. Like, it's like, you thought you were invincible. You're not invincible.
Right.
I don't give a shit.
Right. And
so that's all the more reason why I think that because he sits down. That's partially the reason why he has to drink with them.
I agree.
That's why. That's like
it's a protective measure.
It's a protective measure, but now at the end, he's like, well, now I have to protect them no matter what.
No, I agree. Like, ultimately, like...
in the beginning, when he sits down and said, I think he could talk him out of it.
Yes. But, like, throughout the film, whether subtly or not, Rick does truly, like, you can tell he does truly respect Victor Laszlo.
Yes.
Which is why he has this instinct to protect Victor Laszlo in that moment. In other moments.
Because he, no matter what, the bullshit, that's also, like, the bullshit posturing of, in Barb Wire. It's like, well, the subtlety of Rick does give a shit.
Right.
You know, like, it's, he doesn't want to stick his neck out, but he knows what's the right.
Yeah.
He knows which one's right.
Yeah.
He's not debating on if he's going to help the Nazi or not.
That's true. Versus Barb, who, no longer...
She's pretty much like, I might just keep these.
Yeah.
We keep those contact lenses for my own damn self, and then sell them.
Barb no longer gives a shit. But what brings her back in, which makes Charlie Kapitsky the Sam character, is what brings her back in, and she doesn't realize how much her brother still believes in the revolution, even though the revolution cost him his eyes.
Okay, but I also think that she doesn't care until he's killed. And then
I agree. I agree. No,
it's just that.
No, I think we're saying the same thing, which is like Barb is out. Charlie still cares. When Charlie's dead, Barb's like, okay, this matters. Yeah, no, I agree.
But it doesn't, it's not that it matters. It's just fuck you. It's not like I'm
Barb
doing this.
Never...
Yeah, it's not like I'm doing this to, I'm not doing this for the betterment of America or the win or the resistance or anything like that or the free city. It's because you killed my brother.
Yeah. So again, going back to the difference between Barb
and not even necessarily fuck the totalitarian government.
Right.
Fuck that guy. Right. There.
Specifically
that specific guy.
I agree. That Barb's instincts aren't based off the greater good. Barb cares about money, herself, and in this case, her brother. So Rick, who cares about things like that, he cares about money, he cares about himself, but clearly throughout the film he draws a line where things of higher importance, like Victor Laszlo's cause, are more important to him. Like, he does not care about selling the visa.
No. That's really never on the table.
Correct.
He has it, he might use it for himself.
Right.
He might.
But it's such a stronger film because Rick isn't compromised by, like, the cash benefit that it gets from it. And, like, Barb Wire, even, like, she is concerned about that, and it's even undermined again towards the end of the film where, like, they're like, oh, man, well, you don't have the things anymore, but she still has the charge card for $750,000. So, like, Barb is, and this is the problem with Barb Wire, I mean, there's plenty, but, like, the problem is Barb is a bounty hunter. Why is Barb a bounty hunter? Because it's no longer Casablanca when she's a bounty hunter, because then her main fucking goal or interest is money.
Yeah.
So what do we find?
What are we doing here?
Rick is no longer caring about himself, and that's a big turn for characters like this. He's like, I'm willing to let myself suffer for this guy to win.
Whereas if that's the opposite, like, yeah, she might want to fuck that dude, but she kind of doesn't want.
She doesn't give a fuck about the doctor.
Not really.
There's no point in the movie where you think that she gives a fuck about that.
That's true.
She gives a fuck about the guy, I guess.
A little bit.
You're right. And I guess, like, she has an interest in him, like, continuing to live, because like that's how Barb Wire frames this. Like it's like if you fucking read a book or watched a movie, you're like, oh, I guess it's about this. It's like it's not about that. You dumb fucking cunt. Sorry, guys. Like this movie,
Barb Wire brings it out of you. Bro.
I know.
I guess I don't know.
I know. This movie wants you to think that like she like it's all about the D. Like she's like, oh, there's a guy I used to fuck, and like I'm interested in him, and also money, and fuck his wife. But like because Rick actually gives a shit about Victor Laszlo.
Well, that's the whole thing is that he says like, oh, I'm neutral, I don't take sides, but he does clear. He keeps taking sides.
Of course,
dude. Like even like when he says he fought against the fascists. Yeah, they paid me, but you chose the wrong side.
Right.
Like you clearly you made a choice.
Rick is trying to convince him. I'm
saying like, oh, you should have chose the winning side. He's like, yeah probably. Like, and yet he chose the losing side.
Right. Rick is trying to convince us, and like not like himself, really, that like he is a neutral party with no interest in only self-interest. We know that's not true because we see the way that Rick acts, and like that's actually what's powerful about the movie Casablanca, because like every step of the way when he could just make a choice for himself, which would seemingly be what we would think Rick would do, he chooses not to.
Yeah.
Barb Wire, there's no moment for Barb Wire to do that. This is so stupid. I can't.
It is pretty amazing.
Jesus goddamn Christ. Barb Wire, they just keep trying.
This discussion is not very funny, but it's actually pretty solid.
It doesn't have to be funny.
I know.
It's like I am making, and you are like an honest assessment
of these two movies,
which is actually the funniest thing that's ever happened.
Now we're actually breaking down Barb Wire and Casablanca.
Oh my God, this happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, it's almost like we're at rock bottom, but we're also on a mountaintop.
Dan, should the movie Barb Wire exist?
No. Fuck no. What are you out of your mind? No way. This movie should never. Just watch fucking... It's not even close. Like, this is fucking Godfather and Boondock Saints. Like,
oh, God. Honestly, the gap might be closer.
No, I bet it... Of Boondock Saints and Godfather? Yeah. I think so, too.
I think so.
I think so, too.
I think Barb Wire...
Again, I also...
But no, I'm sorry. No. Barb Wire is just too bad of a film. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And you know what? I don't want to put the... It's definitely not Pamela Anderson.
No, that's the point I'm trying to make. That Pamela Anderson is not at fault for the failure of this film.
I get it.
She actually laid it out,
she's doing her best. She's beautiful.
But there's nobody else, right? Like, Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, fucking Dooley Wilson.
Peter
Lorre.
Claude Rains.
Peter Lorre, who's... Like you were saying before that, and like, yes, Rick, yes, Rick. The frozen peas. Like, the cast.
It's so good.
It's so good, and the cast in Barb Wire is so bad.
The cast, the surrounding cast is terrible. Like, fucking Jango Fett is awful.
Is actually...
She's the best of all of them.
I don't want to... Yes.
Other than
I don't want to say good.
Howard.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to say good, but... Given everything else in the film, yeah, she's okay.
She's giving her all. She's
fun.
I think she's more talented than she's working with so little.
There is a way. This sounds crazy. There's a way on the editing floor to make this movie work.
Yeah, there is something.
It's like, again, I'm not saying it's going to be Casablanca. I'm not going to say like it could be a 6 to 7 out of 10 90s shitty action superhero film. Because, like, by the way, superhero movies at the time, and this is kind of one, were very bad. Like it's not like she was in rare company. Like, the original Punisher film with Dolph Lundgren, not very goddamn good. What the fuck? Steel with Shaq, not a very good film. You know what I mean? Like, there were so few good superhero films.
This is Batman Forever too.
Yeah,
Batman Forever. Wow. Like this is.
I feel, especially after I read this article that I was telling you about, I almost feel bad because the article, I do almost agree with his premise that like Pamela Anderson's first foray into this genre deserved more than what we got out of this film.
Oh yeah.
But also, that doesn't excuse the film.
No.
The film is dog shit.
No, it's dog shit.
It shouldn't exist, to your point, because the only thing that's good about it is it's kind of like Casablanca.
Yeah.
And what's bad about it is it's kind of about Casablanca.
Yeah, that you're like,
they
fucked this up.
weren't even close.
Not even close.
Oh man,
You fucked this up royally. They fucked this up.
She had a lot of charisma and energy and the stunt work.
She looked great. You could tell she put in the work.
Yeah, dude.
Like
I almost wish the movie was good.
Yeah, I wish it was too for her, because there's
it's not her fault.
You could clearly tell like this was like a setup for her to be like, this is the next thing.
It's supposed to be a big deal.
Yeah, this is a big deal. She was at Cannes Film Festival wearing the outfit.
And when you watch it, audience, if you watch it, you may agree with me on this, and you don't have to, but when she's on screen, it's not terrible.
She's good. She's fine.
Yeah, it's just
she's head and shoulders above everyone else in
yes.
the movie.
Yeah.
Except for
which
Clint
is
Howard.
really actually
because he's hamming it up.
Oh yeah, Clint Howard's great. But which is actually pretty fucking impressive actually, because there are actual actors in this movie that are getting their shit just ate up by Pam Anderson.
And fucking Jango Fett is terrible.
Yeah,
but,
he's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't know, man. But Casablanca is.
It's great. Also, do you know at the end of Casablanca, that they're on the
tarmac?
The tarmac. They weren't allowed to film.
Really?
Because of World War II. Because it was during World War II, they weren't allowed to film at airports. Because in case anything happened, because that's where it was going to happen, and so they couldn't film anywhere. So they had it's on on a soundstage, and the plane they built is smaller than this room that we're in right now.
Really?
And all the people putting the luggage in are all little people.
Wow.
It's like forced perspective, but they use little people for that, specific to do that.
That's funny.
And I've actually seen the plane. It's really little.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, it is. And it's only half a plane, by the way.
Really? Well, what's cool about that though too is it makes sense because it's a foggy sort of scene. They're obscuring some of the vision. When they walk away, not the plane part, but when they're oh, me and you are gonna this is the beginning of a beautiful.
Almost every time you see the plane too, it's pretty foggy.
Yeah, right,
yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
That movie though.
Let me ask you a question: Is this? Is it a happy ending?
It's as happy as it's going to be for this movie.
I guess for Casablanca, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah,
I know exactly what we're talking about. We're not talking about Barb Wire. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually.
I think it. I mean,
actually,
in the long, he does do the right thing. I know, it is kinda, but
for humanity.
Yeah.
It's a happy ending, right? It's implied that it's happy ending. We don't know what the hell's going to happen to Pixel House. Well, he might roll into town and just arrest him immediately, right? We don't know.
True.
But for the stakes that have been made and the choices that Rick makes, and this is again Humphrey Bogart's strength in this film.
Who's effortless in this movie, by the way.
God.
He's effortlessly
so
cool
good.
and
so good.
Kind of strong, but in the sense of maybe he could kick the shit out of it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe. He's certainly not weak.
No. Even the way he also handles it's so much more different than you see in other movies like that. When the other girl that he's sleeping with in the beginning, she comes in, she's acting a fool. He kind of manhandles her, but he's also just get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I'm not even he's you gotta go one way or another. You're gonna go, but I'm not gonna beat you in front of. I'm not gonna or whatever.
Which
it's not
that I'm perfectly reasonable at the time.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's this over the top, but he's kind of just it's so dismissive.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to, he wouldn't have to, but you see in a lot of those old movies they do stuff like that. They get out of here, force them out. He's just get up.
Yeah, Rick.
See you later.
Rick is.
I don't know how to explain it. It's I'm not putting up with it. But at the same time, I'm not really gonna threaten you. I don't really need to. Get the fuck out.
I prefer that you left.
Yeah, and it's I'm gonna guide you. It's we're not gonna do this.
Yeah,
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, man, it still holds up.
It really does. It's not that the bottom line for a guy's behavior. You know what I mean?
No. But you're talking about a character study. Because we're ultimately studying Rick. Like, the whole movie is us trying to figure out who this guy
Plus, he's mad cool.
He's super cool.
He's mad cool.
He's the coolest fucking
Yeah,
guy. He might be one of the coolest people in cinema.
Yeah,
Like,
especially in that movie. And you're just watching that movie too. You're like, man, I want to smoke a cigarette.
Oh, I wanted to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah,
like,
the whole time.
I wanted to listen to jazz, smoke cigarettes, bang flappers. It was a whole thing. A little bit earlier, actually, in the 20s. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. But
no, but like to your
punch
point,
a German?
Yeah, punch a German. Specifically a Nazi. You know,
Yeah,
Germans can be nice. No, like you're right. Like his character, whether it's like by design, right? Like he's in a precarious situation at all times in his life.
Yes.
There's no moment where.
But he's like comfortable in the precarious situation. You know what I mean?
Yes. Which goes back to your earlier point. Like,
panic.
has he like killed someone before? Like he's been here before. This is in his first rodeo. And you're 100% right. He's comfortable in the panic and like out of everyone else is freaking out. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Rick's just like,
and they have like this subtle the symbolism or symbology.
Yep.
The symbolism of him when you first meet him, he's sitting at a table by himself.
Yep.
Drinking, playing chess. I mean, in today's standards, by himself, like via mail.
Sure.
So he's figuring out his moves. I mean, it's by today's standards, it's like so cliche. But for 1942, that's not a normal thing.
Right.
So like you wouldn't bring your main character in to be that what you're doing is playing chess. You're playing an intellectually stimulating game of strategy and blah blah blah, and that's what he does for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like
no,
it's really the whole thing is
really impressive.
It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It really is.
It really is.
It just is.
I mean, not that I'm saying anything groundbreaking or anything.
No, but like
everyone has it on their list. I mean, it's up there. It's like this. What about Bob? No,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, like even like me and pre-watched it and like certain things, right? Like going back to that cool. There was him and Victor Laszlo, which by the way, it's important that Victor Laszlo is also cool.
Yeah. In a different way though, like a stoic.
Way. Yes.
Kind of cool.
But like
your father.
I remember we were watching the film and Pre was like, I love that suit.
Yeah.
Like
some of the suits are
like I love that suit.
Or like just his dinner jacket.
In the 40s, bro. Like
dude, his dinner jacket with the bow tie,
God, yeah.
like man, it's like
dude,
this guy killing it.
Yeah, man. Like this guy.
Even Sam. I'm like, Sam's killing it.
Dude, the whole fucking thing. It's such a good movie. It is like you said, again, we're not breaking any ground, but like
it's
good. So good.
There's not a scene in it that could be missed.
No.
The only thing you could you could probably
some stuff in France, maybe.
I don't even think that because I think that's all pretty important to them. But the one part you might, but I wouldn't even say that either. It's the only tough is when you see the resistance fighter come by with the ring.
But that was important for that.
I guess it was. But I guess if you did cut it out, I don't know if you would miss much.
You wouldn't miss much, but like I think that
but it does give you because he immediately was like, no, I don't want your ring, and then he's in. Not in, but he's the guy.
So I do get what you're saying that you could cut that scene. Yeah, it's possible, right? Like it could work, but like again, because so many things are between the lines, like. This person's commitment to the resistance and the Laszlo to take this risk himself
in front of everyone here.
Right. It elevates like we brought it up slightly in our conversation. We need Laszlo to be Rick. I don't want to say equivalent, but like those two are kind of like. Titans of the film.
Yeah, he can't be like a nerd.
Right.
Because there's no, with the exception, that's also the only drawback of like having Pamela Anderson in that role.
Right.
Of like, it's not even a question. You're going with her. Like,
right,
it's like,
right,
like I don't care how smart she is. Like, she's going to say, then I'll get her there, but I'm coming back here for her. I'm not. But in this case, like, he has to be able to compete with Humphrey Bogart.
Yes. The problem with Barbed Wire, there's many, but like the biggest problem is
that was it. That was mostly it for that, and there's no way this girl is kicking the shit out of this many people.
I agree.
She's fucking 110 pounds.
They do this show all the time. You can watch like Atomic Blonde or whatever. Like, we're doing this now. But like the biggest problem with Barb Wire is everyone's so forgettable.
Oh, yeah.
They're so forgettable. Who gives a who's this? Don't care.
To the point, you don't even know that it's a Casablanca. It's a movie about Casablanca.
Yeah, I know,
it's
man.
The same thing. You don't even know.
But like, I don't know. Like, there is something to be said about the introduction to Victor Laszlo because he holds. Well, he's no Humphrey Bogart, but he holds his shit. You know.
But you can see why he's married to her.
Yes.
You know, like
yes.
it's believable.
And like when the tragedy happens, right? Like Barb Wire doesn't sell Humphrey Bogart getting left at the train station or whatever.
Yeah. She's just like she's like trying to get on a sorry, my phone.
No, that's okay. Plane or something?
Yeah, she's got on a helicopter. They're like, he's not coming. Get on the train. She's like looking around, like, and she gets on. Meanwhile, he's like gets a letter, and you read the letter with him.
Right.
Like,
it's not you.
and the way they're doing it, and the dripping of the ink and everything, it's pretty good. Dude. Like, it's so much better. And then you're like, and not only that, but it's like, France is falling.
Yes.
He's got to leave.
Well, the historical context.
Yeah, of everything
film too. You know.
And now he's heartbroken.
Versus Steel Harbor, which is like
Steel Harbor, and it's
no
like
place.
he's coming, he's not coming. Okay.
And then like the whole soldier element, which I know Rick has a soldier element, but like we're seeing them in their stupid camo and stuff. Like, it's just not very good.
It definitely looked very foreignish.
Honestly, like I'm like, yo, should I just watch Starship Troopers? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Again, I wish that the film was better.
I wish
for Pamela
you had more time.
True. But it's not very good, and Casablanca is excellent.
Excellent. It's almost to the point of why are you trying?
Yeah.
Why are
like whose idea was it?
It's like I'm gonna beat Jordan one-on-one.
Maybe
why?
Maybe it's in the comic. Like maybe the comic is like a smarter like tie-in.
Yeah, I never read the comic. I couldn't tell you.
No one's read the comic. Yeah, like, what are we talking about? But like, they shouldn't. But like, it was like I almost wish they would like try again now. You know, not make it Casablanca. Like maybe just try to like
make Barb Wire. You mean?
Yeah, I think it could work. I just think that this was.
I think it's the worst idea I've heard.
This is garbage. Like this, the '96 film is garbage. There are people, Clint Howard and Pamela Anderson, who like deserved a little bit more from this film, and I think they were failed by the screenplay, by a director, because like honestly, it's interesting. I thought it was like crazy, and like I'm glad that I saw it, and I was high when I watched it. But like that opening scene with like the water, and they're just spraying it with a hose.
You're right though about the clear raincoats, but
yeah, it was weird as fuck. Like, but I liked it. It was like some like. What am I watching, like a Berlin music video? I was really confused. But like, because I was so confused, like we tried to watch it and we stopped. 'Cause I was like, I don't get how this is Casablanca. And then I came back like the next day. Like, if you cut that opening scene out and like maybe just got into it, it would help. But the trying, you don't have to build up Pamela Anderson. The minute you see Pamela Anderson in that outfit, we're good.
Yeah.
You don't have to build up Rick. I don't need to see Rick in the trenches of Normandy and shit like that. Like, just like, yo.
Him sitting there playing chess. Done.
That's much more powerful than spraying Pamela Anderson with water while her tits are out. Like, it's just, again, not her fault, but like, I feel like the screenplay failed her. And like, I don't know. Like, whoever's in charge of casting, writing, directing Casablanca, god damn, bro. Like, like, it's 2023, and I was watching shit. I was like, "This is incredible.
This is 80 years ago.
This is It was incredible. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Wild.
It's absolutely wild, and it's so worth watching. So worth examining.
And I forgot about all the quotables when I was watching it. I was like, "Yo, seen that in 100 different things. I've seen this in 100 different things."
He's looking at you, kid. It doesn't matter about Hill of Beans. We never had. You
never had your car. No, sorry.
Your car. We didn't have power. There's so many. So round up the usual suspects. They have a fucking movie called The Usual Suspects.
That's true. So ultimately, Casablanca, very good. Barb Wire, very bad.
Yeah, it should not be made.
Bother in the sense of like, it actually might be worth just witnessing that nonsense. But it
is.
Witness.
wait.
But it's not very good. And even My Leather Jacket doesn't solve this.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
It's a pretty bad movie.
But not for lack of trying.
Yeah. For at least two people.
Yeah.
For everyone else, go fuck yourself. I will say this too. One, I laughed at the kind of RoboCop ending where the bad guy is like falling, and he didn't have the long arms like RoboCop, but that was pretty funny. And then some of the best, what's it called, dummy work since Casino. When the car falls and explodes, and it's just like, that's clearly a dummy.
Yeah.
I got you, babe!
Don't call me babe.
Man, no one's in this
Nobody's in
vehicle. This looks crazy. Yeah. Special shout out to the in-fight scene in Barbed Wire. It's actually very good. It's kind of stupid because Jango Fett is like trying to like manipulate this crane, but like the scene on the crane of Barb and the guy fighting, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's all right.
Yeah,
but a bad movie.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Nothing worth writing home about. But
So
Casablanca on the minute.
Yeah. So what the hell are we watching next? Cause
I don't know. We've been caught up in this whole Murtaugh trial. Murdoch.
Yeah.
Murdoch trial.
Yeah.
Good thing that's.
South Carolina lawyer. I'm just a Southern lawyer.
I'm just a Southern lawyer.
Killed my family.
That we were discussing doing 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men. Wow.
12 Angry Men. It's
I got thoughts about that.
yes, I have. I think it's almost word for word the same.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's close.
You know what's funny? Because like we're talking about the quotables of Casablanca and how it's used in a lot of pop culture. There's so many different 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, there
pop
are.
culture
But I think we're gonna go the Henry Fonda.
Okay.
And then the one with Jack Lemmon. The one with and George C. Scott.
Yeah.
If that's cool with you.
That works for me.
I don't remember what years they are.
That works for me.
But,
for the audience, there is an episode of Hey Arnold where Curly, the character, he like takes over the school and he's throwing like dodgeballs at people and shit like that. And then when they go to trial, it's a 12 Angry Men situation.
Ah, nice. There's also a Family Guy episode.
Really?
That's like 12 Angry Men.
That's good stuff.
But that's in a time when jurors are just really hot.
The rural juror.
The rural juror. Yeah, so
nice.
Well, I guess we did it.
Cool.
I'm Dan Farley. You can find me on Instagram at DanFarley18.
I'm Reggie Parker. You can find me on Instagram at RP Comedy. We've got a lot of things coming up in the near future, but thank you for listening. Check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play.
Yes, and like
YouTube.
and subscribe, baby.
Nice hat. Here's looking at you.
Here's looking at you, kid.
And keep looking at us, because we're gonna keep making these. This was a really fun.
Yeah, this is great.
Fun episode.
I can just talk about Casablanca.
I could all day, and we might again, because there's probably plenty of sources that crib from it. Man,
for sure.
That's such a good,
such
a good movie. Well, next episode's 12 Angry Men.
12 Angry Men, everybody. See you later.
He's looking at you.
He's looking at you, kid.